I'm going to move along and introduce you to Mary McCarthy and Cathriona. So Mary McCarthy is a Smurfit Team and Executive Coach, but she has a real job in Microsoft as well. She has a global role as People and Culture Lead in the gaming division of Microsoft, and she leads many of the internal coaching activities as well. And Cathriona Hallahan is Microsoft Ireland's MD. Cathriona is also a trained coach from Ashridge, and she's passionate about promoting a coaching culture within Microsoft. And an interesting fact about Cathriona is, you may have read in the Irish Times during the week that Cathriona is described as the 5th most influential Irish chief executive on LinkedIn. That's an achievement. So we're going to hear from Mary now. Mary's been using the team diagnostic survey with several teams in Microsoft and getting some interesting results.
Great.
Mary.
Thank you, Barry, and welcome, Cathriona.
Thanks, Mary. Great to be here.
So I'm absolutely delighted to be here today speaking with you about the team coaching activities that I've been running at Microsoft. But I thought we'd start by speaking with Cathriona about her background in coaching and to share some of the context about coaching and team coaching in Microsoft. So Cathriona, can you share a little bit about your background in coaching?
Yeah, sure, Mary, happy to. So I'm with Microsoft a very long time. I actually will have my 35th anniversary next February. And about 17 years ago, I had a health scare. And after the health scare, I decided that I wanted to maybe think about a different career move, and decided that coaching was something that I would love to explore. And I have to say, it was an amazing experience to go through yourself after having had that health scare, to just reflect on who you are as a person, what's important to you, what are your values, and then to build the skill and capability in coaching. And I brought that both into the workplace, but also leveraging it externally. I did some external coaching to kind of explore what it would be like to be a real coach outside of the Microsoft house. So it's been something that I have leveraged all the way along my career. But I'm really excited by the fact that Microsoft has seen coaching as an integral part of how we manage and lead in the organization. And that's a new string to the bow, I think, in Microsoft, as we've redefined our manager framework, which is now framed as model coach care. And we can talk a little bit more about that.
That's great, thanks. So how does Microsoft use coaching and team coaching to drive higher performance, Cathriona?
Well, we've started in the last couple of years introducing the Coaching Habit online program. So the Coaching Habit program, where managers and our ICs are invited to go in and be a little bit more coach-like. The completion of that program online gives them access then to a coaching hub, which has really valuable materials. It has video content of people demonstrating the coaching habit. It also gives them additional materials that they can access to help them continue to develop that coaching habit. And then we've also implemented monthly coaching circles. And actually Ireland were one of the first to pilot that in person. And I had connected into the global team with Mary to say, hey, listen, we have some great coaches in Ireland. We'd love to be, because of the multifunctional site that we have, where we have engineering, we have sales, we have operations, all in the same site. Wouldn't it be great if we can try and explore how those coaching circles can become more multifunctional, as well as within a particular organization structure? So obviously with the pandemic, they have all gone virtually, but we're still seeing huge positive feedback from our managers in leveraging that coaching circle. And then we started to branch in, because of these uncertain times, into things like managing mood, managing emotion, and really trying to help explore how managers can cope from a mental health perspective in this environment, where there's an awful lot of pressure and requirement on them to lead and support their teams. So we use coaching, like team coaching, in a variety of different ways, partnering with the HR functions and external groups. But really, it is the one that I think is going to have the potential to unlock even more, because Microsoft works in a very team environment, collaborating across a lot of different groups to deliver solutions to our customers. And so individual coaching is great, but actually the unlocking of potential really comes down to team coaching. And I know that Barry and David will be joining our manager community call in December. And I'm very excited to hear them share with all of our manager community what this opportunity to leverage team coaching potentially can be.
That's great. Thanks so much, Cathriona. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you one more question. Have you got a personal experience of being on a highly effective team, and what did you learn?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have. I think I think some of the things that Ruth talked about around the design piece, the leader, or the person who was thinking about putting this team together, and they were a cross-functional team, really did put the time into saying, what are the skill sets that I need? What's the purpose of this team? How can I get the best from a performance? And it does take that time to really be clear on what you hope to achieve, and how can you bring all of those different skill sets together, and how do they then as a team have that shared purpose together, define it together, because it's really important. You can't, as a leader, dictate that. I think you actually have to give them the conditions of, here's what we're trying to achieve, but really let the team help shape some of the purpose, so that they're more committed to that. And it does really accelerate the performance and the outcome and the impact that you can drive for a customer, or for society, or for the business. So
brilliant. Thank you, Cathriona. Thanks so much for sharing your perspective. And thank you also for being the first manager I had who was a coach, who encouraged me to get into this. So I'm very, very grateful.
I'm to blame.
I'm to blame, yeah. So we've heard from Ruth, Cathriona, and the Smurfit Team coaches, and had some great conversations in the breakout rooms, hopefully about the 6 conditions. But I just love to share a couple of examples that I have personally from some team coaching that I've done, using the 6 conditions within Microsoft. So I did the Smurfit Team Coaching program finished about 18 months ago, and since then I've done almost 20 diagnostics using the 6 conditions. And I'll give you 3 examples of how I've seen it work effectively. The first is in relation to a global senior leadership team in the customer service environment in which I work. And I worked with the team who had very strong results when you looked at their essentials and the enablers. But there were challenges when it came to strategy and task performance. So the team was working in very many countries around the world, and when they got together, they had amazing times, and they came up with great strategies and great ideas. But the process wasn't there. So when they got back to wherever it was that they lived, and they weren't following through on the actions, and making them aware of that allowed them to build in more check-ins and accountability, and that really helped bind the team even further. So we have an annual Pulse, our Work Health Index poll every year, where we look at a number of different elements. But following the diagnostics that we did here and the work that I did with that team, there was significant improvements in their poll, stronger business impact, and the employee engagement across the broader team improved significantly. The second team I'm going to talk to you about is where, Ruth, you mentioned that you sometimes start with new leaders, and this was with a new leader in the EMEA customer service area. She had actually just come from within the team, and all of the team had applied for the position. So she was in a tricky situation. And when we did the diagnostic to start, There were challenges where the team were dissatisfied with workload, they had unclear goals, morale was poor. But by working together, we were able to build that compelling vision and identified what their norms should be, how should they could work together more effectively. The team met a couple of times in person, and they subsequently went to virtual engagement. But in terms of our annual employee survey, they were actually the strongest in our organisation. And the resourcing gaps that we identified by looking at workload, we were able to address, thankfully. Over the course of the year, so I've run another survey with them, their sense of real team improved from 3.5 out of a scale of 5 to 4.35. And their view on compelling purpose improved from 3.9 to 4.6. And team coaching element improved to 4.5. So it really showed that by investing in their development, helping them design how they needed to work, allowed them to be more effective. And then the third team that I worked with was a more junior digital sales team, and they were coming out of the missing their sales number for the first time in 7 quarters. And I worked with their manager to design something where they would build that sense of purpose as a team. They weren't actually clear that there was a common goal. They were all just looking at their individual sales targets. And by sharing that, what the broader goal was with them, they were able to build a plan and a target that they could achieve together. The result of that workshop, so I worked in partnership with an external team coach who was on the team coaching program with me. And the result was that they were really delighted that people were investing in their development. And they were also really interested in this notion of having a galvanizing moment as a team. So when we asked them what their target was at the end of that first intervention, they set something which was 10% above what the target that had been given to them. And over the course of that year, they managed to beat target by 13% and improve their employee engagement and work health index by 9 points. And I'm working with that manager again and again on different teams because it seems to be the magic of team that Ruth mentioned earlier. So with that, I'm going to hand back to Barry. I'm very happy to take any questions. I hope that was helpful to you.